What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony and Mike, and we are discussing Season 2, Episode 5 of Marvel's What If series, and this is What If the Emergence Destroyed the Earth? So here we go, talking about the Eternals again.
Yep. They're trying to push that. And I don't know why, since they ain't making another Eternals movie. It's like, why y'all, unless they're secretly trying, it's almost like a bait and switch where they're like, okay, we're not going to do another movie, but here's some stuff just to see if you're still interested. If you're also interested, we might do another movie, but if you're not, then we're still not going to do another movie.
Yeah.
So it's and it's interesting because all of this stuff and What If is canon to the MCU. So it's like, okay, guys, what are we really doing? But before we get started, I want to offer Mike an apology. Mike, I actually have course corrected on how I feel about the show.
Oh.
It doesn't have anything to do with this episode being actually really, really good. It's more or less, I sat down and I really thought about season 1, season 2, and now season 3, that, you know, we keep having these overarching stories. And one of the issues I had with the show was that it wasn't like a traditional What If. And if I can and continue to view it through that lens, the show continuously lets me down. But when I decided, you know what, it's really not about the What If part of it. This is really just, these are just serialized stories. These are not one-off What If episodes. Like that's sort of what my expectation was. But when I looked at it through a different lens of this is actually like a series of stories that actually amount to something. I guess it's actually pretty good. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. And now kind of realizing, because I know I'm skipping ahead to the end of the episode, where this season is really about the Watcher fucking up. You know? Because at the end of the episode, I was like, oh, you done fucked up now.
It's not necessarily him fucking up.
Yeah.
It's him.
Well, from
him
the other Watcher's perspective, it is him
fucking up. But it's just him. This is really, if you put it in perspective, this is all Peggy Carter's fault, because she's the one that got him interfering and saving her, and her hearing him, and them just their intermingling has really affected him. It's like if it wasn't for last season when he showed her the tree and all this other stuff, and she ended up saving everything and talking to him on a consistent basis, because before this he never really talked to anyone he watched. But like now, since he's talking to him, he's starting to see humans differently and see people that he used to watch and not care. Now he cares, and that's just, and he should have just minded his own damn business. Mind the business that made you a watcher.
Peggy's fault, I think, is not fair, because Peggy is not the celestial being in this equation, and I don't think she would have heard him if he hadn't already been letting his guard down. So I think to put it on her and say it's her fault, I don't think that's fair.
Okay, I'll say that she was integral in his downfall.
Okay, well, I won't even go that, because again, I feel like that's laying blame at her feet when it's really all him. You know, apparently whatever his job is as a watcher, he is supposed to watch and observe. He's not supposed to interfere. And I feel like he's not supposed to have he's not supposed to have any emotional thoughts, any emotional ties to any of these people that he's watching. And maybe for however many eons he was doing this, he was able to do that because there was not a singular person that kind of stood out to him in that way.
Okay.
As far as Peggy Carter goes, I think just her being the person that she is, and not willing to sacrifice, not willing to give up, not willing to just kind of let things fall where they lie. Maybe that was something different enough for him in his observations of humankind to say, let me pay closer attention. Why is this person like this? And then it just kind of influenced him in that sense, as far as him seeing the type of person she is, and him, rethinking like, okay, so if she's acting this differently from, I mean, if you think about it, in anything that we watch and that we consume when it comes to humankind and celestial beings or beings of otherworldly power or authority over humans, they always look down on humans as like an inferior species, one that's kind of not even noteworthy. Oh, we're just paying attention to them for whatever. But whenever you have a human or a person that kind of exceeds their expectations, it always makes them look differently at things. And I just think that that's kind of what's happened with the Watcher. Now, granted, him interfering, that's a little bit different. That's all on him. That has nothing to do with Peggy. That has nothing to do with it. Like in this episode is RiRi. I mean, I can imagine if you've watched the same scenario over and 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 over again, at some point, I think even the hardest of hearts would be like, I just can't do this anymore. And it's not like he literally lifted her out of her universe and put her somewhere else.
Which he has done.
Which he has done. He literally just basically, it was a whisper on the wind, but it was enough to get her motivated. So,
and speaking of whispers on the wind, if he had kept his mouth shut, Infinity Ultron wouldn't have hurt his ass if he hadn't said anything.
He likes to monologue. Who doesn't like to monologue in these situations? He's bored. He's sitting there watching everybody, and he's like, of course he's going to monologue.
But that's what he did when Peggy Carter took notes.
Inner dialogue. Inner dialogue.
He doesn't think he can hear him. No one's been able to hear him for so long. He's like, oh, he can't hear me.
And he's like, talking to us.
Yeah. So... Rookie mistake.
Look at this motherfucker. You just sitting there like, look at this motherfucker. He done killed everything. What's he going to do now? He's like, what? He's like, what? Oh, shit.
But I mean, that's literally how it happened with Peggy Carter as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, in the 1609 episode, he was just like, what is she gonna do now? Motherfucker, I can hear you. What?
Right.
But I just wanted to make sure that was out there, that I'm not a fan of the show. I like the show now. It's interesting. So I'm back on board.
Okay. I appreciate you, my brother.
Wow.
I'm not saying Mike was right. It's not amazing.
Bro, I'm used to people saying I'm not right. I'm not saying I'm right. That's fine. I'll take this. I take it any way I can get it. So I accept. Thank you.
Okay. How nice. We're starting a new year off on a good note. Okay. So let's talk about this episode, because this is the second time that we have seen RiRi Williams in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The first time was in Black Panther Wakanda. And so as the title states, the emergence on this particular Earth, in this particular universe, actually happened. And instead of destroying the Earth, let me change my words. Instead of completely destroying the Earth, like obliterating the entire Earth, what it did was it shattered the Earth into pieces. And apparently these people can still live on the pieces of the Earth that is there. And I was going through social media, not looking for any spoilery type thing on this. And I just happened to come across something in my news feed where there was an article, I believe it was on Screen Rant, and they were like, yeah, so what if they just basically copied a plot line from a non-canon Marvel property. And I was like, okay, so what did they take from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because that's the big non-canon MCU property we always talk about. Yeah. And then I thought about
I didn't even think about it. And then it's like when I was looking at New Rockstars, and they were like, yeah, this is almost the same thing at Quake to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was like, oh fuck, it is.
where you have pieces of the earth and you have people who are still living on it. But the thing is, we also get to see White Vision in this particular one. And the main antagonist of this episode is Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio. Or as
I still have, for the record, I still have an issue with them pulling these obscure, random characters, which, you know,
Mysterio's not obscure.
But but it's kind of like
average person, for your average person who's gone to watch if you were trying to pull people into the TV shows who basically have only watched the movies, and they may have only watched the Avengers movies for the most part and not seen the last Spider-Man, which I wouldn't fault them for. Or not the last one, the one before that.
Which one was that one? That was Homecoming, wasn't it?
No, it was
that was
Far From Home.
Far From Home.
Far From Home. If you hadn't seen Far From Home, then you'd be like, who the fuck is it? You know, like, who is this? And then White Vision, like, I guess in the random order of things, it doesn't really matter who White Vision is. You don't know. You won't make that association unless you've seen WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, again, in fairness, if you're watching What If, you've probably watched most of the TV shows.
Yeah.
So then you probably have an idea. But still, I'm just saying.
Because even the leader of the Alliance in this one was that I was trying to figure out where her character is from, and I think one of you mentioned that might have been Shang-Chi's aunt.
Yeah, that's Shang-Chi's aunt.
And I was in
Talo.
Yeah.
Hermitage? Oh no, wrong show. Wrong movie.
Wait, what?
I said Hermitage. It was Hermitage. It was
that's the wrong movie.
No, that's Wong
or something. Yeah.
That's Wong.
Wrong. Yeah.
Who was also in this. But so anyway, you have this earth that's been destroyed by the Emergence, and Quentin Beck, Mysterio, has control of White Vision. And okay, this is all the science stuff. I'm not going to explain it right. One of y'all explain exactly what Mysterio was doing with all of the nanites and all this other stuff, because that's like
the nanites help him control everything, basically.
Well, you remember did you watch Far From Home, right?
Yes.
Vaguely remember. See, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Vaguely remember Far From Home.
Right.
And a lot of Tony's tech was holographic projectors.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, the little droids.
Extrapolate that and put that with the nanotech that Tony came up with later. You put that all together, and Quentin Beck has taken all that over.
Okay. Yes.
So he's using the nanotech in tandem with the holographic projectors.
Okay.
And shout out to them for making old Mysterio a really Marvel's really weird version of Palpatine, because he's like sitting there like kind of hooded and just like, kill the Empire, crush them. I was just waiting for him to say execute Order 66, really. And I mean, that's basically what he did.
It's basically what he did.
Yeah. So basically the whole premise of this is every time that this happens where the Emergence destroys the earth, and Quentin Beck is trying to control the earth and doing all this other stuff, RiRi Williams, that's going to be so
that's a mouthful.
RiRi, basically, as the Watcher says, she tries to tech her way out of everything, and I think that's one of Mike's favorite phrases, is like she's trying to tech her way out of everything. She's trying to fix it so that she can defeat him. She can kind of restore, I guess, a little bit of order. But the problem is it never works. She always gets defeated, and the Watcher, basically is lamenting the fact that he has to continuously watch her fail over and over again. He's like, basically, it's just gonna, it's gonna keep repeating itself. And so here is another situation.
Didn't he say in every iteration of this universe, she fails?
Yep.
Which echo the same thing about every iteration of Strange's universe. He couldn't save what's her name? Christine. Is it Christine?
Yeah, it's a fixed point in time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So in this one, here we go again. We're starting again at the beginning. She's trying to obtain different types of materials so that she can do what she needs to do to try to defeat Quentin and his holograms and his nanites and all this other stuff. And it's so interesting because they brought Sharon Carter in to be one of these things, negotiating with her for a fucking easy bake oven. Really? But anyway, I mean, hey, if she can do something awesome with an easy bake oven, I'm not gonna look down on that. But of course, the Sharon Carter that we find is a fake. It's one of the White Vision's droids, I guess.
No.
She's real.
That's really Sharon Carter.
Was she real?
Yeah.
No, she said something about her being fake.
No, the droids, some of the droids that were after her were fake, but Sharon was real because she punched her in the face with that easy bake oven and got the little thing that she needed out of it.
Yeah, she was
100% real.
Yeah.
If she wasn't real, she wouldn't have got punched in the face like that.
She's real. She was working for Beck.
Okay, but see, I thought, maybe I was reading that wrong because I remember her saying something about one thing about such and such. She said, you get to know what things are real and what's fake. And that was when she hit her in the face. It was because she was saying that Sharon was fake. It was one of the bots. I saw
maybe a fake ally.
I thought she just meant fake ally.
White Vision was menacing as fuck in this. Like, I don't even want to watch Vision Quest now because I don't want shit else to do with him. Like, that motherfucker was. I mean, when he came, she was like, "Please be fake," and he grabbed her up by the neck, and it was like,
she's like, "Not fake, not fake, not fake."
Yeah, like he was not playing at all in this episode. Like when he went through the Titanic, I was just like, "That's some."
Was that the Titanic? Was that supposed to be the Titanic? Okay.
No, it said it on the boat, Titanic.
I didn't see it. I didn't see that part because I was looking at it. I said, wow, it almost looks like the Titanic. But for me, that wouldn't have made sense. Like, why would the Titanic be there and the Titanic sunk? But again,
there's no more water.
Universe,
like,
so yeah.
All the water's gone.
Everything underwater is now above water, basically, technically.
Duh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says when you look at it again, when they reveal it, it's on the bow of the ship. It says Titanic on there.
Okay.
It's like when he was going diagonally down through the floors, I was just like, fuck that. No.
So yeah, looking at White Vision in this episode, I was just kind of like, is this who we're waiting to see? Because I don't know that I necessarily want to see him being this terrorizing.
I don't think he's going to be terrorizing.
No,
I think
he's going to be a gentler one.
He's going to be confused mostly.
Yeah, because this is him right after WandaVision, so he's basically going around trying to find himself. So it's not going to be an ultra violent one. It's just going to be him asking questions and spouting philosophy, basically.
Well, my fear is going to be a Frankenstein story, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
You're what? You're what now?
Nothing.
I heard you. I mean, okay.
But yeah, he was scary in this one. But when he's fighting RiRi and it looks like she's about to be defeated, she gets saved by this group called the Alliance, and it has what was Shang-Chi's name?
Wong,
was it Yan? Wong, Valkyrie, Okoye.
That's it.
Yeah, so you have this group and they're this alliance, and it's like a group of people that are also trying to defeat Quentin Beck, and they've also been watching RiRi, and they know what she's trying to do, and they're like, yeah, we can offer you resources and assistance because you need this, and this, and you've been trying to do this, and this, and we have this, and this. And she was like, oh, so y'all been like stalking me. They're like, yeah, we're stalking you, but for a good reason. And so, like you said, Mike, they do take her to, which I see now in the background is the Titanic, which is their base. And they give her, they basically have set up this whole lab with everything that she would need in order to make this weapon or make this suit or whatever it is that she's trying to do. Because I think what she had planned on doing ended up changing once they had White Vision and she had his parts and his pieces. She was able to make herself a suit and technology to where she could see through the holograms and she could see what was real, what was fake. And she thought that she'd be able to go.
Oh, wait. No, wait. She didn't make a suit, right?
That's why I said, or the technology to create like.
Well, she turned herself into a synthezoid, a human synthezoid.
Yeah, she's basically a semi-human version, a more human version of Vision.
Yeah, she's the same as Vision, but more human than robot.
Okay, again, this is a little too sciencey for me.
She's like a cyborg with nanite technology.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, she's a cyborg with nanite technology.
Okay.
I was like, when she was doing this, I was just like, this cannot end well. Like
absolutely not.
The first sign that it cannot end well is their basis of operations is the Titanic, like the symbol of lost causes.
Basically, no. And when she was creating the tech to turn herself, they were on the run because they had to destroy it because Vision basically killed everyone else in the Alliance. It's basically now just them because they killed everyone else on the boat. And it's like, and you're still on there like, okay, I'm going to turn myself into this. And I'm like.
And she had to do it in 7 minutes. Excuse me.
Oh, that was funny.
7.5 minutes.
How long do you need? About 24 hours? Like, all right, you got 7.5 minutes. And I love how she responds. While she was talking, it reminded me of her in Wakanda Forever when the FBI came. She was like, I knew I could just create. Then go ahead, create just new tech in 7 minutes. What could fucking go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? And I'm like, yeah.
No, my mind went to the episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where Scotty told Geordi, never tell them how much time it's actually going to take you, because then they'll believe you can work miracles.
Exactly. Then they'll cut it in half.
Well, I mean,
or at least this would be like, say way more time than you actually need. Then they'll like, okay, give you like a
because she didn't say 24 hours. I think what she said was 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks.
And they were like, you have 7.5 minutes. What? I think Tony Stark would have even balked at that, like, not even a full 10. But
about 12 hours.
No.
He said, I need 12 hours. And they're like, 7.5 minutes. That's how long the Vishanti protection spell is going to hold.
Yeah. But he went
because Vishanti shut out.
Yep.
If you hadn't seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, it would mean nothing to you, but whatever.
Yeah.
All you do, you see Wong, it's wizardry stuff. Be like, all right, cool. He's going to put some protection shit, and then he gives them the Vishanti armor of goodness. I was like, oh shit, dope. It was just like in the finale of season 1.
Oh yeah. But yeah. So she tries to, as they say, take her way out of this, and doesn't go quite as planned. She's able to see through the holograms, and she's able to get down on the ground, and her 4 people from the Alliance, they're doing what they can to fight things off. And then this is where it gets a little murky for me, because I've only watched the episode twice, and I'm like, so when they were down there on the ground and they were fighting, was that really them, and were they really alive at that time, or had they already been killed? Because the way Quentin Beck kind of presented it to her towards the end of the episode, I was like, oh, so you was down there defending nothing.
No, she was. When he hit her and she fell to the ground, I think he started the illusion then.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, because when she woke up and saw Ying Nan, that was fake, because she's the one that followed her into his lair, and she tried to switch, then she disappeared. So It's like, so he actually did a double layered illusion. Like, there's the one illusion where she's in his lair and she fights him, but then there's the other illusion where she wasn't even in there. She basically didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
He basically She was knocked out, and he made an illusion where she was right there. And I'm not even sure if when she was fighting, she wasn't actually fighting them and killing them herself. Like I'm not sure.
No, I can't. I can't even. I can't even wrap my head around that.
You see what I'm saying? It's like,
he basically pulled an Inception.
Yeah, or what? Well, it was something I saw. I know I've seen something where this kind of thing happened, where someone had given them an illusion and they were actually killing the people. It's just like it was one thing. It was a run of X-Men, and no one's going to notice if you haven't read the comics. It's like where Logan was under someone's mind control, and he thought he was fighting enemies, but he was actually killing all the X-Men.
Oh, ouch. Okay.
So I think it's something like that, where he had such control over it. Could be. I'm not sure. Now I'm not saying this is what happened, but by the time you looked, it's like because she was punching those Mysterios hard as fuck. So it could have been where they were like, RiRi snap out of it, and she just turned around and beat the shit out of them because she's basically Vision, so she can hit them as hard as Vision was hitting everyone else on the boat. So
my only thing is he would have used that and showed her that to break her spirit.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that.
Yeah, he would have shown her. Well, he didn't show her that.
He just showed her the dead. He just showed her them dead. But I think it would have had more of a, it would have had more of an impact. If he had been replaying and like, well, you know what? You were the one who actually killed your friends. Yeah, I think that would have had more of an emotional impact. And I think if something like that would have happened, I think the watcher probably would have made mention of it when he started doing his monologue.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, oh, here it comes again. Here we go again. I can't watch this. I can't.
Now, Mike, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that there was at least one universe where that actually happened. So.
That's true. Because, I mean, he's watched this millions of times. I mean, that has to happen at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even if that was the case, if she was the one who actually killed them in this one, that could have probably been what spurred him to say something to her so that she could hear him. Like maybe he was just like, okay, this is just too much. Like it's bad enough. Her world is destroyed. It's bad enough that, she's about to be defeated and her friends are gone, but it would be even worse if she was the reason why her friends were gone. And maybe that was just him being like, you know what? I can't do this shit no more. And that's why he's telling her, get up. I need you to fight through this. So that could be it too. But either way it goes, the watcher intervenes. And then we find out that there's a whole council of watchers led by Lucius Malfoy, aka Jason Isaacs.
The Emergence.
The Emergence. And I was like, I was kind of like Anthony when you see that and they're like, what the hell is he doing? I was like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
It reminded me of
you done fucked up now.
Right.
You done fucked up now.
Right. Because it was reminding me of the time watchers, the time lords in Loki.
Time Variance Authority.
Yeah, the 3.
What are they called?
Yeah.
I forgot what they were called.
Me too.
I think they were Time Lords, yeah.
So yeah, that's what it reminded me of. So when he spoke and they were like, what's he doing? I don't know, but he's gone too far this time. They're like, you mean further than the last time he went too far? And I was just like, oh, this is about to be some problems. Because the way that they've kind of fashioned this show, and this is for those of us who are uninitiated with the comics and know nothing about What If, you kind of think that the Watcher is the supreme being, like he is the highest of the high, and that's the reason why he's watching over everything. But then to find out that not only is he not the highest of the high, but there are 3 other people whose authority he is supposed to be yielding to and whose rules he's supposed to be following. I was just like,
he's barely in the top 5.
Well, if you were kind of a fan of What If and Marvel, the comic books, you know that Watu's not the only one. So
even in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, with the Stan Lee cameo in there, was him talking to the Watchers, like him sitting on on an asteroid, and the Watchers all around him, and he was talking. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a deep cut.
Go back and watch it.
Gotta go back and rewatch some of this stuff because I'm like, what? Yeah. When did that happen? It has been a while since I've seen that movie. So
right.
No, I was gonna say the Timekeepers started.
Yes,
the TVA. The Timekeepers founded the TVA. Air quotes for those listening. Air quotes around founded.
But yeah, so it's like now you have not only this situation with RiRi and Quentin Beck, which wants a Watu kind of or the Watcher, because he doesn't really use his name in this season yet. We heard it in the previous season, but once he kind of, I don't know, breathes new life into RiRi, and she's able to figure out how to defeat Quentin Beck, you got that fight happening over here. But then you've got, like I said, now you've got this little mystery and this little intrigue over here with the Watcher and these other Watchers. And I'm just like, so when they get ready to punish him, because they're going to punish him, are they going to punish just him? Or are they going to punish everybody that he has helped and everybody that those people helped to kind of, I don't know, bring balance to the universe or to
I would assume they would just remove him from the equation so they can go about their business.
Right. So this won't happen again.
So it won't happen again.
I mean, this is they don't want to, but it's like, I mean, this is they're basically gonna have to, if he's interfering in something, they're gonna have to interfere with his interference. So it's like they got to figure something out if they want to.
Yeah.
But you would think that if that was
to minimize the effect that he's had based on his interference, you don't do more interference. You just remove him from all the situations.
The picture,
yeah, and just then let everything continue as it's supposed to.
But you would think that they would have done that when he interfered in last season.
Well, you also have to remember they can kind of see how everything is supposed to be and how everything is supposed to work out. So his little minor interferences wasn't that big of an issue to them, probably. But it's one of those things where you're doing one little thing here, one little thing there, and the supervisor's like, I'll just deal with it. But then after a while, you're like, okay, I'm tired of this. We're done.
Yeah, but at that point, the problem has gotten bigger.
Well, the reason why this one was a problem was in every universe that she was doing this in, she's failed. So he made a significant change in that one universe. So
this is
and also, go ahead, Mike.
This is basically what he was getting on Strange about the first time we met him, because he was trying to keep her alive, which is a fixed point in time, which he couldn't do. RiRi's death is the same thing, and he just did what he told Strange not to do.
And I think that's the thing that I'm kind of like.
And the Watchers don't want that to become habit, where he's just like fucking up fixed points in time, and that could be making even bigger thing to go that could happen. That could be very destructive to all universes. So if you go around fucking up fixed points in time, what is time?
Yeah.
Well, time is a construct created by the...
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Yes, you're right, sir. Yeah, but he's basically going back and doing stuff that he's basically doing. He's doing the do what I say, not as I do, as far as Strange goes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, question: the RiRi Williams that we saw in this episode, and the way that she is, kind of like her determination, her refusal to accept failure, that sort of thing. Is that indicative of her personality, and is that what we can expect to see from her in the Ironheart series?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. She's gonna try. She'll try to take her way out of everything. So yes.
Now is she gonna be reckless with it? Because we all know Tony Stark. We love Tony Stark, but
she's a kid.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, she's in her early 20s. Of course she is.
Does she even know what reckless means? Do you know anyone under 35 who isn't reckless?
Right. I mean, it's like, basically we're going to see how she was. She's going to be bold like she was in Wakanda Forever, and she's going to just go and do all kinds of shit. Yeah. I'm thinking from seeing the previews, like she's going to be into some kind of like questionable shit too. So it'll be interesting to see how she did.
And Tony Stark is damn near 50 years old, and he's still reckless.
But this is Tony Stark. We kind of expect it from him.
Look.
Because he's always trying to, Tony Stark is one of those people that like has significant daddy issues. He's always trying to outdo his old man. He's trying to be better. He's trying to, so we kind of expect it from him.
All the characters in Marvel Comics who are genius level intellects, Reed Richards, Bruce Banner, Tony Stark,
they thrive on chaos.
They're all reckless. Even Shuri and T'Challa to some extent. Amadeus Cho, they're all reckless.
Yeah. Okay.
They really are.
Henry Pym, reckless.
Hank Pym is the king of all that shit. Like, he is just the worst at it.
I'm so glad we are not seeing him in this season so far.
He is the absolute worst.
Okay. Favorite part of this episode for you guys, what was it?
I like her being her when she was navigating on Beck's asteroid, like flying and telling and like leading them and them following her and her telling them what's fake and stuff. Her whole personification as like a vision kind of that whole personification was dope as fuck to me. Like, I loved all that, especially on the ship when she first integrated it and she floated up through the deck. I was like, okay, that's pretty badass.
My favorite part was they were on the ship Valkyrie was using, and there were no goats pulling the ship.
Of course it is.
My favorite part. No goats.
Anthony, it's been 2 years. Let the goats go.
Do you not know me? When have I ever let anything go? Have I ever let anything go?
That's perfect. Oh my
that goodness. Was not the answer I was expecting.
That was really good.
That is hilarious.
What's yours?
I don't even know where to go after that.
Again, I had to use an obscure reference, and if no one's seen Love and Thunder, lucky you. Lucky you. That's all I can say. Lucky you.
Whatever.
And do not go look at it just because I said that.
You can't alienate our audience that likes goats. You can't do that, Anthony.
Or our audience that likes Love and Thunder. Because there were some people who liked it.
Then y'all are listening to the wrong show.
No, because I believe we were firmly split down the middle with that. If you guys want to check it out, we did do a Love and Thunder episode. Go check it out. I think we were quite split on that one.
Yeah, I think Mike was split right down the middle, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was. I'm still kind of mad about it. It's like there are parts I really liked, there are parts I didn't like. And it just dragged to me.
But you didn't have a problem with the goats, I don't think.
I didn't care. I really didn't care about the
goats. Okay. We have 3 more episodes, and just judging from the titles, I think the next episode does not really have anything to do with the Watcher, but he will figure heavily in the last 2 episodes. of the season. And then that's going to be it for What If. So, we were talking, I think in the last episode, about how some of these stories are going to converge and have big specific meanings for the final 2 episodes, or at least the final episode. And I don't know if, I think with the first 2 seasons, you got to see where most of those characters had something to do with the season finales for those 2. And I just don't know if all of these characters are going to make it to the end of this series. I think some of these are kind of like what Anthony said. They're just one-off. I think we were just meant to see these characters, be introduced to them. For what reason, I don't know. Like we said, the fact that they keep bringing them in for the, they keep bringing in all the stuff that happened in the Eternals is kind of interesting, I think, because again, they're not moving forward with Eternals 2, but also we do see little bits and pieces of the Eternals kind of popping up, because I forgot what it was that we saw. Maybe it was the Captain America teaser trailer that first came out, where there was a newspaper article and you saw something about Tiamat kind of over in the side. And then, of course, you see Tiamat a little bit more in the trailer for Captain America, because like you said, they're going to be getting, I think you said adamantium from Tiamat. Yeah. So right. I guess they're just trying to familiarize people. But again, if you are a show watcher and not a movie watcher, why does that matter? But like,
if you're a movie watcher and not a show watcher, then
yeah. Yeah, but like you said, if you're watching What If, chances are you're probably like us and you're watching both.
I think one of the things they're hoping to do is to introduce us to the idea of alternate characters from alternate universes. Because when it comes to Secret Wars, I think that's going to play a part of it. Right. Because we got a lot of it in Deadpool Wolverine. We got it in Multiverse of Madness. We got it in No Way Home. So they're expanding on this idea of you're going to see, and we're going to have characters play a major part of what's coming up. Even with Kang and all the variants of Kang that we've talked about. So I think this was sort of a backdoor way, because this is how we got Peggy Carter, Agent, Captain Carter. We got her, and we see her in those Multiverse of Madness. You're like, oh, yeah. So I think this is sort of an amalgam of everything that Marvel's trying to do when it comes to what they want to do with the multiverse.
Okay.
Because of course, one thing they're going to have to figure out, the fix for the problem they said was created by people going back and forth. I forgot what they called it, but I think that's what the point of Secret Wars is going to be, is to show how we are able to fix this issue. Where going back and forth causes a whole universe to collapse. So, we'll see. And we'll see how the TVA plays a part in that. And they've already established that we have all these branching timelines and branching realities and branching universes. And I just think we're just being prepped for it with What If. So What If has been this huge prep for this phase of Marvel that we're going into.
Okay.
And it would help, I don't like that they do this, but it will help people who only watch the movies to actually have watched some of these TV shows to kind of see where they're going with this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think eventually that may end up happening. One of 2 things will happen. The people who are movie only viewers, they will either get frustrated or curious enough to say, okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know about these characters. Let me go back and see what's going on. Or at least they'll go back and maybe go to YouTube and look at a summary video, try to find out. Or they're going to get frustrated at these quote unquote obscure references and be like, okay, you know what? I'm done. Because again, the audience that they have right now, I feel like is not the same audience they have for the Infinity Saga, because after the Infinity Saga, a lot of people, especially if they're casual Marvel fans or if they're just movie only fans, you're bringing in all these new characters that they don't really have a emotional connection to, and it's kind of hard to get that. Again, like we said, you're introducing properties, and then because they don't do as well as you want at the box office or whatever the case may be, you know, legal troubles, blah blah blah, you're not building on these characters, you're not giving people time to get an emotional attachment to them, and they're just giving up. They're just like, okay, you know what, it's not Iron Man, it's not Thor, it's not Captain America, I don't care. So one of those two things is going to happen. People are either going to be interested enough to go back and watch the TV shows, or they're just going to give up altogether, which will be a problem, because if people start losing interest or start losing more interest, I would say, then you got a problem, because that will lead to more properties not being completed or being canceled or being indefinitely postponed. And then, you know.
Well, and what's going to happen when people who, let's just face it, the majority of the audience who paid to go see Avengers and Avengers Endgame, they have only gone to see the Avengers movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's where all the money's coming from. What about those people who didn't go see Far From Home and No Way Home and didn't see the Multiverse of Madness? Mm-hmm. And they don't have a cool, and then they go into an Avengers movie, and then or seeing Deadpool and Wolverine. Mm-hmm. Let's just assume they didn't. And then they go see the next Avengers movie, and then there's a Deadpool Spider-Man, you know, or you know, a Thor Storm, mm-hmm. or Captain Carter, and it's not, and they're looking and they're like, what is this?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And me, you and Mike were like, oh yeah, go, and then the rest of the audience is sitting there like, what the fuck is this shit?
Right.
You know,
right.
And I think that might be. I hope not, but I feel like that's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. That people are waiting for an Avengers movie, and then they go to an Avengers movie, and they're and it's weird. Killmonger is Black Panther. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
you know. Mm-hmm. So
but I'm just saying that's such a sad way to live, though. I mean, it's like, I can't every time we start talking about things like this, I'm like, how do people, like, I can't imagine. It's like the way I get mad at people not knowing certain things, and like when I know about certain things, like in the comic or in movies or in the show, and other people are like, huh? And I'm just like, yeah, that's just sad. Like, it's gone past the point where people like people used to think nerds were sad because they were into all this and they were like just like mentally like focused on everything that happened in the comics and everything else like that. But now it's like, first, I'm just like, how do you people live? I just don't understand.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like how I feel about certain things too. And that's something that Anthony and Michelle have constantly tried to tell me. They're like, Hanako, people are not always going to be on your level or on our level or on like, you know, among my friends, I'm kind of like top tier when it comes to nerdy stuff among my, let's say, non-nerdy or casual nerdy friends. But among like people like you and Anthony, I'm kind of mid-level because I'm there. I can keep up with y'all, but y'all have comic book knowledge that I may not necessarily have, you know? So it's kind of like there's levels to this shit. And it just depends on who you're talking to. But I'm the same way, like, especially with you know, The Walking Dead is one of my big fandoms, and I know there are people who only watch the main show. They don't care about the spinoffs, and it gets frustrating to me because when I have debates with people about certain characters, Negan is one of them. People are only talking about him as far as what he was in the main show. And I'm like, Negan has a whole other side to him that is being explored in the spinoff, that was explored in the extra episodes of season 10, which I know there are some people who didn't watch those episodes. And I'm just like, how do you consider yourself a fan? But that's not fair to them because they may not have the level of interest in it that I have or that we have for certain things like these Marvel things. I remember when they announced Disney Plus, we're going to do Marvel TV shows and blah. We were like, oh, bring it on. There can't be too much. But again, we're starting to see there can be too much, especially if you are not properly developing the characters and the stories that you're telling, or, if you keep trying to make everything tie into the bigger picture, like everything doesn't need to tie into the bigger picture. We can have something that's a Marvel property that has nothing to do with the multiverse, that has nothing to do with any of this stuff, and it'll be okay. But if you try to oversaturate and make everything connect, and then things start to get a little sloppy, it's going to be like, do y'all really need to do that? And I will say this, Marvel better tighten.
Marvin.
Marvel better tighten their shit. They better get their shit together before James Gunn releases his Superman movie, because with him being at DC, he's already announced, they've already released the trailer for his Superman movie. He's announced casting for his Supergirl movie, which now includes Jason Momoa.
Boy,
if Marvel don't get their shit together,
James
Gunn is going to do what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel. He's going to do that with the DC.
He's already started. It's like with Creature Commandos. It's like Creature Commandos, like everybody who's watched it has loved that shit. So it's like he's already, because he's doing that shit again, just like he did with Guardians. He gets things that are kind of obscure and he builds them up and actually does a good job in bringing them to people.
Well, insiders are reporting that Superman did not test too well in the test screenings, and they've had to go back and fix stuff. But that's neither here nor there. So, not to beat a dead horse on this issue, the concern with the TV shows is you could do a TV show like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and actually be really good, or WandaVision and it'd be really good. But then when you start going into the territory of, is the show going to be like a really good show, or a show where you're going to have this really good story, or is your focus to introduce new characters that you want to use in the movie? And I don't know, and it's almost like not only do they blur the line, that seemed to become your intention. Like your intent is, we're doing this show because it's a character that we want to use in the movie, so we're going to do it here in the show. Or let's introduce all these characters in this show because we're going to use them later in the movie. I don't really have a problem with that. Well, I kind of do, because I want to sit down and I want to watch a show and I want to enjoy the show. I don't want to spend my time being introduced to characters that we're going to see later.
And then
does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, Secret Invasion is a perfect example of that. It's one of those shows we were all excited for that show to come out. We were like, oh, Nick Fury's getting his own show. We're going to find out a little bit more. And then when we get the show, it's about Nick Fury, but it's not about Nick Fury. And then the Nick Fury that we see in that, going back and thinking about it, I do appreciate that you're showing Nick Fury as more of a flawed character and more of a nuanced character. I get that and I can appreciate that. But I think for what we were expecting at the time, I just don't think it did what it was supposed to do. I don't think it accomplished what they set out to accomplish, because a lot of people, especially if you weren't watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you're not going to care who these people are. You're not going to care who this alien race is, because you're like, why are y'all just now introducing us to them, because we've only seen them in what, Captain Marvel,
right,
and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And as we all know and complain about, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not canon.
It's not.
So
they claim.
So they claim
it's only canon when is necessary.
Right. So it's kind of like, what is this? Why is this? And if you're setting up for something that's going to happen a few years down the road, I don't know.
Like you said before, Hanako, it's no guarantee that that's going to pan out for you. So you're just wasting all this time introducing us to new characters, then production staff changes, people die, things happen, and you can't do it no more. People get arrested, falsely accused of things, and you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And it just throws your whole thing off. Like, stop doing it. And I think that's why I changed my position on What If, because I accepted What If as, okay, I see what y'all are doing now. Y'all are giving us the ability to understand the concept of weird characters that, because Cohorty, she now has her own comic book series. So that whole thing was to give her a platform to introduce us to a new character. And now we have multiple properties of this character. And we were told we're going to see a live action version of her. Okay, so that's what If is. What If is a platform, it's a springboard for all these new characters you want to introduce us to. Started with Captain Carter, now we got Cohorty, and we're going to have some more probably because we've seen it now.
Yeah. So if y'all want to give us Eternals too, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, like
as
I
long
said,
as they do it right.
I'm one of the people who enjoyed that movie, so I
don't think there's not going to be one.
I know, but if we can just see the characters again, that would be great.
If anything, Captain America: Brave New World would be sort of a weird sequel to Eternals.
If not, probably Secret. We probably see.
They will see him again in Secret Wars.
Yeah. So.
I just want them to do. I mean, bring back what's his name, and do Black Knight. I mean, I don't even. It's like because he'll be a really good character in certain things.
You mean
like,
Kit Harington?
Yeah, bring back Kit Harington's Black Knight because you can't tease him like that. Because I mean, they tease Blade too, but it's just like
I was about to say, look, they had Blade.
At this point, I don't give a fuck about Blade. You can just give me a Black Knight movie, and that shit'll be. Because I think that's probably one of the things that they were testing when they cast Kit Harington, is that they wanted to tie in. They probably wanted to bring in people who liked him in Game of Thrones to something that had some medieval kind of qualities to it. So it's like they're trying to expand their fan base by using him as the Black Knight, which would have worked. And I'm like, just go with that shit.
Just do it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're losing. Well, I was going to say they're losing momentum. Momentum is lost as far as Blade and Black Panther and all that stuff. Momentum is lost.
There's only one Blade. It's only going to be one Blade.
And now they painted themselves into a corner where people are like, okay, well, maybe we should go ahead and get Wesley Snipes as Blade. Now they got this conundrum where Mahershala is like, I don't like any of this crap y'all keep giving me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But that's the thing. Are they even giving him anything? Because at this point, I don't even know. Like, I think the last news we got, they either lost the writer or they lost the director. So at this point, Mahershala is just sitting back like, okay, what y'all doing? But okay. Getting back to What If, because we have gone way into the weeds, as Anthony likes to say. Do you guys have any final thoughts on this episode featuring Miss Williams?
Yeah. This was my favorite episode of the year, of the season. I really enjoyed it. I liked the characters. The story wasn't bad. Like I said, once you accept it for what it is, it's perfectly fine. I'm not saying it just because of RiRi Williams. I'm actually being genuine. I thought this was a pretty good show. The what if aspects of it, when I started thinking about, oh yeah, that could have happened with Quentin Beck if when he had gotten the glasses from Spider-Man, and yeah, maybe there were some things that could have happened that the Eternals kind of fumbled the ball, and we never got to that point where they turned on the Celestials. So I thought it was actually, pretty good. It was cute. The Titanic. I was like, oh yeah, this is a lost cause. No wonder RiRi loses all the time. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Best episode of the year, of the season. So yeah, I give it really good marks.
Okay.
Yeah, best episode was the last episode, but I digress.
You know what? We didn't ask you because we already knew this, Michael.
Shout out to the way the animation of RiRi taking the nanites from Beck. I thought that was cool as shit. Where she like phased through him and took him out of him. That was cool. That was cool as shit. Also, shout out to them for not doing the misogynistic Mysterio taking over RiRi's body without her permission and wreaking havoc.
Yes, thank you for that.
Which was where he was going when he had her captured. He was trying to say, I'll just take over Mysterio, take over Vision's body. And since you're Mysterio, she's like, no.
She was like, no, what we not gonna do?
Right. So thanks for that one. Shout out to Deborah Wilson. For those of you who don't know, Deborah Wilson was on Mad TV. She's one of my favorite comedians. She's really funny. She had some additional voices. She voiced some additional voices in this episode. I saw her name in the credits, and I was like, oh, cool. Like she was on Mad TV and did Whitney Houston on Mad TV, and she's really funny, and she had a voice. I just want to give her a shout out. The other Watchers' names are Emergence, Executioner, and Incarnate. So of course they're going to come back later. So those are some really badass names for them just to be sitting there and looking. I'm like, how are you going to be called Executioner and you're just watching stuff? So you ain't going to be executing shit. You can't do that.
They listen, and they don't judge. But I think that's about to change.
Right.
Because with those kinds of names and with the Watcher doing what he has now done twice, yeah, I think a day of reckoning is about to come for him.
Man, he's been doing this for 3 seasons. They're just like, look, motherfucker, it's enough.
Yeah, enough is enough.
Yeah. So I guess we'll figure out what type of punishment awaits him. We have 3 episodes left for this series, and for now, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.